during the dark hours of the night. Where to? إِلَى الْمَسَاجِدِ, to the masajid, the places of worship, بِالنُّورِ التَّامِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, with complete and perfect light on the day of resurrection and rising. In this particular hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is encouraging us towards two of the most important salah, the two of the most important prayers that a Muslim can offer, particularly in Jama'ah. That is the Salatul Isha and Salat al-Subh or Salatul Fajr. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in another hadith, he says, he who prays Salatul Isha in congregation, in Jama'ah, it is as though he has spent half the night in worship. And then he who prays Salatul Fajr in Jama'ah, in congregation, it is as though he has spent the entire night in worship. So the Isha in Jama'ah, half the night in worship. Malaika, right? Half the night in worship. How long is the night? 6, 7 hours? Whatever it is, half of that night, the 3, 4, 5 hours is considered an ibadah. But the salah took 10 minutes, 5 minutes, no problem. Now, this is the karam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His generosity. And likewise, Salat al-Fajr in Jama'ah, as though a person has prayed the entire night in Qiyam. They praying before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam he says the two most difficult salah, the two most difficult prayers upon the people of hypocrisy and nifaq are Isha and Fajr. These two prayers, particularly Isha and Fajr. Why? Because in the early times, with the Arabs, they never used to have artificial electricity and energy. And so immediately after sunset, they would start to either have their dinner and then maybe fall asleep after a hard day at work. There'd be nothing to keep them up. No technology, no movies, no entertainment of that particular nature that we have now. For us, we can make night as if it's day. We can spend another 2, 3, 4, 5 hours up, no problem. Why? Because it looks like day. We've got light everywhere and everything is there taken care of. But for primitive societies, it wasn't the case. And so that's why the first of those prayers that would be difficult for them to keep would be Salat al-Isha. And then Fajr, because they would have also been asleep from in the evening until Fajr. And for a person to leave that which he loves, that which they find comfort in, that which they find that is going to increase in their energy, for a person to leave that comfort, that sleep, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to rise before Allah, to pray a minimum of those 2 rak'at of Fajr, of the Fard prayer in Jama'ah, although a person can also pray what's called Tahajjud prayer. Tahajjud means leaving sleep prayer, because there are 2 types of prayer at night. The first, which we mentioned, that Tahajjud, meaning the prayer that you pray of voluntary of nafil salah, which occurs after waking up from sleep. So any time in the evening, you went to sleep and then you woke up, that extra sunnah salat that you may pray, this will be given a particular reward, multiplied, called Tahajjud salah. If it was salah that you had done at night, but you haven't yet gone to sleep, then this would be considered qiyam, staying up praying. There'd be reward there, but the reward for the tahajjud, meaning if you went to sleep and then you woke up before Salat al-Fajr and prayed nafil prayer, voluntary extra sunnah prayer, then that reward for that salah is even higher. That's why we heard from some of the salihin, pious people, that during the nights of Ramadan, what they would do after having their iftar, breaking their fast, they would go to sleep, power nap, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, power nap, gone to sleep, yes, wake up. Oh, now all the tarawih that he's praying is not going to be considered normal qiyam al-layl prayer, salatul qiyam, no. It's considered tahajjud prayer. He is going to be earning the reward of tahajjud prayer that a person would earn after going to sleep for a portion of the night and then waking up. This is how they transact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They know the rules and they know the tricks of the trade. Any person who's an expert in their field, SubhanAllah, they know the tricks of the trade. All halal, no problem. Tricks of the trade. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to earn, wants us to win, wants us to profit. And so He has given us all of the different tools and skills and ability in order to be able to follow that. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam mentions to us that there is going to be a nur on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And this nur on Yawm al-Qiyamah will guide you to Jannah. Just like Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was your guide in your life, in your sirat, in your path in this world, to hidayah, to guidance. Likewise, your salawat will be a guide for you to Jannah, and they'll be your intercessor. And so, when a person will be placed in their grave, and then adab wants to come, and punishment wants to come, then a person's fasting, a person's prayer, a person's recitation of Quran, particularly Surah Al-Mulk, person used to recite Surah Al-Mulk, particularly before going to sleep, then this Quran will come and it will serve as a means of protecting you from adab al-qabr, from punishment in the grave. A person's siyam will come and say, I prevented this person, I stopped this person from eating food and drink during the day. And so they intercede. The siyam itself, fasting comes and intercedes. How? What does it look like? Can you tell me what siyam looks like, what fasting looks like now? It doesn't have it. It's not tangible. You can't see, you can't touch. But in the next life, Allah will give your a'mal a surah, a form. If you gave your amal a ruh, a spirit, in this life, it doesn't have a physical form. Allah will give it a jasad, a surah, a physical form in akhirah. But if you didn't breathe into your amal ikhlas, if you didn't breathe into your amal khushu', hudur with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this life, then you've already given it a form. You've given an outward form, but there's no ruh. And an outward form with no spirit is not going to last beyond this particular dunya. So therefore, in your a'mal, in our a'mal, we seek to produce that which has a life and that has a spirit. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will clothe it with that jasad, with that surah, and that amal will come, that deed will come in order to protect us on Yawm al-Qiyamah. In the next hadith, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بين كل أذانين صلاة لمن شاء بين كل أذانين صلاة لمن شاء رواه البخاري ومسلم. Between every two calls to prayer, every two adhans, there is a salah for he whom he wills. There is a salah for he who, or for whoever wills. The time between the beginning of the time of prayer, where the mu'adhin will go out and make the adhan, call to prayer. First of all, the mu'adhin himself. The mu'adhin himself will be of the type of people who have the longest necks on Yawm al-Qiyamah. When every person is trying to struggle to breathe and to stay afloat, a person that went and used to call adhan in the masjid, in the desert, in the village, in the home, wherever he found himself, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, call Allah is great, Allah is great. Even if he's alone, in the mountains, under the stars, out camping, he's why am I going to make adhan? Why I'll do adhan? There's no one to call, just me praying, Allahu Akbar. I'm in a journey, 50,000 miles from anywhere. No one around. No, you said no one around. There's malaika, there's jinn. There are trees and there are stars and rocks and mountains and specks of dirt. They will all be witness to your adhan on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Don't you want more witnesses to your adhan, to your ibadah Yawm al-Qiyamah? Just like the earth witnesses your sujood, everything that listens to your call to prayer will bear witness for you on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And so these people who call others to salah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will distinguish them from other people on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Because you used to call people to my ibadah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm going to distinguish you from amongst my ibadah. I will distinguish you from amongst the rest of my servants on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And so between the two adhans is also a time in which our dua is most likely to be answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore it's sunnah, recommended highly. If you have something to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding, then to ask Him between the two adhans. What are the two adhans? The first one is an adhan. The second one is an iqamah. But because they were of the same type, meaning they're reciting the same words, we call them adhanain, two adhans, even though one is adhan and the other is the iqamah. The first one is to call people that are far away from the masjid to the masjid in order to prepare themselves for salah. And so this one is done aloud, not just so the people in the masjid can hear, also those that are outside. As for the iqamah is done right before the commencement of the jama'ah salah. And so it is not done aloud to a point where those outside the masjid can hear, but just those that are inside the masjid. Why? Because it is an indication that the salah is about to be established. We call it adhanain, the two adhans, even though one is an adhan and the other is an iqamah, just like we call the dates and water al-aswadain. We call them the two black ones. As mentioned in the hadith, these two black ones which the Prophet ﷺ used to break his fast upon, dates and water. We know dates are black, they're dark. But water is not dark, it's very transparent. It hasn't got a color. But because they're there at the same time, every day you drink your water when you're breaking your fast, then they call the two black ones. So the second item takes the attributes of the first. Similarly with al-isha'ain, the two isha prayers. Oh, which two isha prayers? There's only one isha part. The two isha prayers, meaning the two night prayers. Salatul Maghrib and Salatul Isha. Salatul Maghrib 3 rakat, Salatul Isha 4 rakat. But because they're close together, you do the Maghrib and immediately after the Maghrib, within an hour and a bit, you perform Salatul Isha. They're both at nightfall, so we call them Isha and two Isha prayers, the two night prayers. So the two adhans, the first is the call to prayer, meaning calling those who are not yet at the masjid or in the place of salah. And the second, the iqamah, referring to those that are actually here present, indicating to them that we're about to pray. Get your siwak ready, stand in your rows, get your niyyah ready, and a qibla, such that we can come on this journey all together to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so between these two adhans, there are also sunnah prayers that we can pray. In these particular sunnah prayers, throughout the day, after adhan of Fajr until the iqamah, there is a sunnah prayer. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, the two rak'at of Fajr, rak'atay al-Fajr, the two rak'at of Fajr, meaning the two rak'at of Sunnah before the obligatory Fajr prayer, خَيْرٌ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَمَا فِيهَا, is better than the whole dunya, the whole universe, and that which it contains. If you were to imagine all of the wealth and the property of this particular dunya, you were to own it, its gold and its silver and its wealth, and then everything of this dunya of wealth and property that you own, you give it away in sadaqah, charity, fi sabilillah. You donate it for a worthy cause. How much reward are you going to get? Oh, a whole week, mashallah. Rasulullah saying, he said, those two rak'at that you pray before the Fard Salah of Fajr, you'll get more reward than you spending all this whole wealth of this whole dunya. It's more virtuous, it's more rewarding. Also, between the adhan for dhuhr and the salah of dhuhr, have a sunnah